Good morning and Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve.
We are so glad that you are joining us this morning, and welcome to everyone that's here in the sanctuary, to everyone that's joining us virtually. It's a wonderful way to move into the Christmas spirit with our Christmas service today. My name is Peggy Ruth. I'll be your celebration assistant this morning. And I'm here with, of course, our senior minister, the wise and wonderful, witty Reverend Don Lansky, and our multi-talented music director, Blair Jones, and her team of musicians, praise singers, with their wonderful music.
A special guest, Kate Tamarkin.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yes. And it is our tradition to open with song. So join in and stand if you choose.
Yeah, let's stand for this one if we can. Please be seated. Well, good morning, everybody. And can you hear me in the back? Good. So welcome to Unity of Charlottesville, and we want to welcome everyone who's online this morning as well on this Christmas Eve day. This is not our most well-attended service. We are a small and mighty group, and I think a lot of people just kind of get ready for the big bash tonight, which is our annual Christmas Eve service, which with our cast of thousands. So it'll be a lot of fun tonight. So we begin with prayer usually at Unity, and I want to begin with our Advent candles. I mentioned last week that there is some debate in the liturgical calendar. Oftentimes, the third week of Advent is love, but in Unity, for some reason, the fourth week is love. So we're going to go with that today. So last week we lit first of all the Christ candle, representing Christ consciousness. And the first week for hope and faith. The second week for peace. The third week for joy, And today we light the light of love. Love came down at Christmas. Please join us.
Love came down at Christmas. Love, oh lovely, love divine. Love was born at Christmas. Love for we and gift and sign. Love shall be our token. Love be yours and love be mine. Love to God and everyone. Love for plea and gift and sign.
And we take this into prayer for a moment, knowing that Christmas is all about love, that the birth of Jesus, the life of Jesus was all about love, and that we can use this special time of year, this special birth of Jesus Christ, to affirm love in our hearts, to be more loving, to look at those areas and places in our lives where maybe we haven't been so loving, and just to take another look, see how we can improve, how we can be better, and to send love forth out into our world, which is so badly in need of love at this moment. And so this morning we affirm the deepest wish of Christmas: peace on earth and goodwill to all beings. Peace on earth and goodwill to all beings. And the affirmation that we sing every week, that let peace begin, and let it begin with me. And so we send forth peace into our planet, into our universe, especially to those areas that are war-torn right now: Israel and Gaza and Ukraine and Sudan, other parts of the world. Peace on earth, goodwill to all beings. We pray in the name and after the nature of the indwelling Christ. Amen.
And let's affirm this prayer together by stating our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God the good, omnipotent. And now it's time to stand, greet each other in the way that you feel comfortable, and sing our favorite song.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here.
And this is a family service this morning, so the youth will stay with us today. We have a few announcements and opportunities to share with you.
So I mentioned that tonight is our Christmas Eve candlelighting service, our annual candlelighting service. It's a wonderful service. Many of you have been there before. If you haven't, it's really, really a lot of fun, a lot of music and a great cheer. So we hope you'll come at 5. It's at 5:30 tonight. We suggest you come a little bit early because it's usually parking it can be an issue sometimes. So come a little bit early, and we'll see you there.
And we want to remind you that the kirtan chanting continues. Saturday, December 30th will be the next gathering from 11 to 12:30. That would be after service.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And next week we'll have our burning bowl and white stone ceremony. So this is really a perfect time, December 31st, to really reflect and let go of anything that is holding you back, anything that limiting beliefs, limiting thoughts, limiting behaviors. We actually literally burn them up in a bowl, in a fire. And then right after that, we have our white stone, which is to set and claim our intention for 2024. So that's at 10:30 next week.
Ginger Collier is continuing her book study. The next gathering will be Saturday, the 13th of January. 10 a.m. to 12. You can get more information about the book and the group on our website.
And we have a workshop coming up on January 21st after church, 1 to 3:30, with Reverend Marge Brown. She's spoken here before, on chakra clearing and balancing. That's her kind of a specialty. And so there's information in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed to our e-newsletter, you can go to unitycharlottesville.org and sign up, or you can sign up on our tables outside. And then also Reverend Patricia will be doing an all-day silent retreat. Well, it's not silent, but an all-day retreat on Saturday, February 5th from 9:45 to 4 p.m. And it's called Deepening Silence, a winter retreat. There's more information on our website as well.
That says the 3rd.
Sorry?
That says the 3rd. You said the 5th.
Oh, I meant the 3rd. It is the 3rd. Saturday thank you, Aurora. It is Saturday the 3rd. Yeah.
And our ongoing healing half hour on Wednesdays. There is a core group of people that have been praying together for a long, long time with wonderful results. Join us. It's just 30 minutes, 6:30 to 7. If you have a prayer request that you'd like us to share with you, you can send that into the church office. Online, there's information about how to request a prayer.
And as we move deeper into winter, you can sign up for text alerts if by some reason for snow we have to cancel our Sunday morning service. We will never cancel church, so we'll always do it on Zoom if there's a weather issue. But you can sign up for a text alert by giving us your cell phone and just dropping it in the basket at the back of the sanctuary.
If you are able to stay after the service this morning, we are going to be preparing the sanctuary for the candlelight service. So if you can stay for half an hour, we will have joy together and make our sanctuary beautiful.
Yeah, and we also need to move some of the chairs, put some more chairs down on the floor as well. So if you can help with chairs, that would be great too.
And now let's join together and state our mission statement. Unity of Charlottesville empowers everyone to express their unique divinity, making a positive difference in the world.
We are very pleased to have Balthazar, Casper, and Melchior present here to help us sing the next song.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we travel so far, feel
a king on Bethlehem's plain. Gold I bring to crown him again. King forever, ceasing never over us all to reign.
Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh. Prayer and praising, balm and raising, worship him, God on high.
Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
Myrrh is mine, its bitter perfume breathes a life of gathering gloom. Sorrowing, sighing, bleeding, dying, sealed in the stone-cold tomb.
Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Glorious now, behold him arise, King and God and sacrifice. Hallelujah, hallelujah, sounds to earth and skies. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
We roll unsubtle. So a woman takes her 16-year-old daughter to the doctor's, and the doctor says, "What's wrong, Mrs. Jones?" And the woman says, "Well, it's my daughter, Debbie. She has these cravings for food, and she's nauseous in the morning, and she's gaining all of this weight." So the doctor does a thorough examination, and after the examination, he turns to the mother and he says, "Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but your daughter is pregnant. I would say about 4 months." "Pregnant," the mother says. "She's never even been with a man. She's never even kissed a man. She's never even been alone with a man." The doctor walks over to the window and he stares out the window, and he's staring there for the longest time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And finally the mother goes over to him and says, "Are you all right? Is everything okay? Why are you staring out the window?" And the doctor says, "Well, I'm fine. It's just that really the last time anything like this happened, a star rose in the east and wise men came up over the hill, and I'll be darned if I miss it this time." All right. Well, so don't you just love Christmas? It's such a beautiful story, so many layers, so many dimensions. You can almost jump into it at any point and just find something incredibly beautiful and meaningful and profound. And this year I was thinking about the story again, reading about the story, and particularly drawn to the three wise men. I think because I relate to the metaphor of a long journey. And it feels like that's what, we're on here. People who are attracted to unity are attracted to this spiritual journey. They know that there's something more, something within themselves that can be more empowering, more expressed. And Patricia actually likes me to say the wise people, because there may have been women among them. We don't know. As you know, in the Gospel of Matthew, where the story is, one of the stories is, it never said that there were three wise men. Did you know that? It never said that. It said wise men from the east. So biblical scholars tell us that the wise men were magi. They were the priestly class of Babylonia and Persia. And the priestly class meant that they were priests, they were astrologers, they were healers, they were mystics. And over the centuries, the legends of the wise men became increasingly embellished. So the Bible doesn't mention their names. It was about the 3rd century that they began to be viewed as kings. By the 6th century, they had names: Bethasaria, Melchior, and Kethaspa. And then a 14th century Armenian tradition identified them as Balthazar, the king of Arabia, Melchior, the king of Persia, and Gaspar, the king of India. And that seems to be the version that has stuck in our legend throughout the ages. So I thought this morning we would take a little dive into the story of the three wise men. And it begins with the Magi studying the signs and the charts of the stars in the heavens, and perhaps from their inner mystical experiences. We don't really know what the Magi saw. The star could have been a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn that occurred in about 7 BCE, or it could have been a conjunction of Jupiter and Venus that occurred in 6 BCE. Those two events are historically validated. But it also could have been a miracle, a supernova, something that is unexplained, something that is not historically known about, there's no record of. That's the realm of miracles, after all. The distance from Babylonia to Jerusalem was about 1,000 to 1,200 miles, so the journey might have taken between 3 months to 12 months by camel. But they took the journey, right? Ever wonder about getting off, not doing the journey? They took the journey. They had to do it. There was something in them that was calling them to do the journey, right? This might have been what it looked like.
Barren desert, inhospitable plains, rugged mountain ranges, then Jerusalem.
Surely you speak of a spiritual journey, Melchior, not one that would actually take you there.
You wish to travel to the land of Judea?
No. I wish for all of us to go.
Melchior, this land you speak of, it will take months to journey there. We know nothing of the dangers we may find. And you following a star only because it burns bright?
Balthazar, surely you will join me.
The star will be as bright here as anywhere.
But you said yourself it would be a star over Judea.
But Melchior, yes, I will need my instruments, my charts.
Take them.
But what about my cushions, my pillows? What about the food I'm accustomed to?
Very accustomed to.
Yes, I need my dates, my nuts, my spices. What about my wine, Melchior?
If you need another camel, I'll bring it for you. Join me, both of you.
They will be wasted months. I'm sorry, but I cannot join you.
Only one more camel?
So of course they wind up going, risking everything to follow a star, right? Barren deserts, inhospitable plains, rugged mountain ranges. And the following the star, of course, we take in Unity symbolically to mean following their inner guidance system, that deepest yearning of their hearts to find the Christ of their being, the Christ within them. So they set out, and we don't know how many months, but they arrive on that sacred holy night to pay their respects and to give their blessings, and I believe also to fulfill their individual yearnings, to know that this new life, this life that was the gift of Jesus and the gift that he would become to the world, that it was real. They had to follow that instinct.
The greatest of kings, born in the most humble of places. God made into flesh. Gold for the King of Kings. Frankincense for the priests of all priests.
Gift of myrrh to honor the sacrifice.
Somehow in the part of the story where Joseph and Mary are given a whole bunch of gold, somehow the early church maybe forgot that, and they were promoting values of poverty. It is possible that all of this gold is what allowed the family to escape to Egypt and raise their son. Maybe the Jesus and Joseph and Mary were a very prosperous family, we don't know. But for the wise men, beholding the Christ in person was enough. Giving their gifts was enough. Because right after that, according to the gospel, they turned right around and went back home, avoiding Herod and all the soldiers. And so the wise men followed their inner guidance. They endured all of this hardship and uncertainty, but they found what they were looking for, which of course I think is a message for us. You know, it's a message for us to take heart, to be courageous, to practice our spiritual practices, to be in supportive spiritual communities, to follow our inner guidance and our inner wisdom, regardless of what the challenges in life seem to be. You know, that's what staying on the journey is. And for many of you I know have been on a spiritual journey for most of your lives. And since today is a good day for stories, I thought I would tell you a story. How many of you are familiar with a short story called The Other Wise Men by Henry Van Dyke? So this is Henry Van Dyke. He's a fascinating fellow in his own right. He was a professor of literature at Princeton from 1899 to 1923. The story was written in 1895. He chaired the committee that wrote the first Presbyterian printed liturgy, which was the Book of Common Worship, in 1906. He was an ambassador to the Netherlands and Luxembourg in 1913, appointed by his classmate, President Woodrow Wilson. And he wrote the words, the lyrics, to the song that we sang last night, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. That was Henry Van Dyke. So I want to share with you my abbreviated version of The Other Wise Man. And I like to do this, you know, in these odd years when Christmas falls on a Sunday or when Christmas Eve day falls on a Sunday and our attendance is a little bit less. I love to tell stories. It feels like we just kind of cuddle up around a fire and tell stories. So here's the story of the other wise men. So the story is about a magi named Artaban. And Artaban was a colleague of the other wise men of the gospel, but he lived in a different part of Persia. But he was studying the same signs and the same charts, and he too concluded that something amazing was about to happen, something great and something auspicious, the birth of a great soul. He had seen it in the stars, and he had seen it in his charts. And so he gathered the other magi in his city together to tell them what he saw in the heavens and what he saw in his charts, and about how Gaspar and Melchior and Balthazar would wait for him 10 days at the temple so that they could meet up and then travel to Jerusalem together in a caravan to see and worship the promised one, the born, the King of Israel. He said, I believe the sign will come, he said, and I have made ready for my journey. I've sold all my possessions, and I purchased a ruby, a sapphire, and a pearl to carry and to give to the great king. And I ask you to go with me on this pilgrimage so that we may have the joy together of finding the prince who is worthy to be served. But, like the film clip you just saw, none of Artaban's colleagues were interested. They said, too strenuous, a waste of time, a wild goose chase. And so Artaban set out alone on his trusty horse Vasta to meet up with the three magi at the Temple of the Seven Spheres. And as he was riding in the desert, he came upon an old Jewish man who was near death, lying in his path. And Artaban knew that he couldn't stay to attend to the man because he'd be late and he'd miss the caravan. If he went on now, the man would surely die, but if he stayed, the man's life might be saved. And so Artaban's spirit throbbed and fluttered with the urgency of the crisis. Should he risk the great reward of his divine faith for the sake of a single deed of human love? Or should he turn aside for a moment from the following of the star and take care of this old man? God of purity and truth, he prayed, direct me on this holy path. Direct me on the way of wisdom which thou knowest. And so the answer he received was to stay. Artaban attended to the old man by giving him remedies from his arsenal of medicinal herbs. He sat with the old man hour after hour after hour until he could see that the old man's strength was returning. And when he felt that the old man was out of danger, Artaban gave him what was left of his bread and his wine and his herbs. And the old man thanked him and said, I have nothing to give you in return, but know this, our Jewish prophets say that what you seek is not in Jerusalem, it's in Bethlehem. So Artaban and his trusty horse Vasta raced to the designated meeting point, the Temple of the Seven Spheres, but the other Magi had already left. He had missed the caravan. And so he knew that he couldn't abandon his journey, but he'd given all his food and all his supplies to the old man. So Artaban turned back home so that he could sell his sapphire and buy more supplies and then head out on his journey again to set out to find the king of Israel. And after many months of difficult travel, Artaban arrived in Bethlehem. The streets were deserted, but from an open door of a stone cottage, he heard a young mother singing softly to her newborn baby. And the woman told Artaban of strangers from the east who had been in Bethlehem just 3 days earlier to visit and see the child of Joseph and Mary, but they'd now fled to Egypt to escape from Herod's soldiers and from all the evil that they were about to do. So the mother set her baby down for a moment to get some refreshment for her guest. And then suddenly the door knocked, and there was confusion, and there was terror, and Herod's soldiers were at the door waving their swords. So Artaban was so moved by the young mother and the mother's love for her baby, that he took out his ruby to bribe Herod's soldiers. And he said, if you will take this ruby and leave this, just leave this house alone and leave this child alone. And they did. They took the ruby. And he prayed, God of truth, forgive me my sin. 2 of my gifts are now gone. I have spent for man what was meant for God. Shall I ever be worthy to see the face of the king? And so Artaban's search continued for many, many years. He followed the path of Joseph and Mary to Egypt, but to no avail. And in Alexandria, he met with a rabbi seeking information about the whereabouts of the king of Israel. So I want to show you, this is from a TV version of this short story from 1960, where Artaban visits the rabbi.
And so Artaban continued a fruitless search for his Messiah for 21 years. Then one day, tired and troubled, he entered the dwelling of a Hebrew rabbi.
What brings you to an obscure teacher of my faith?
I'm searching for the Messiah.
Ah.
Your own prophets have foretold his coming, and I have seen it in the stars. I've sacrificed all my worldly possessions in 21 years of my life in a vain search to find the king.
And if you find him?
I will lay my presence, my one remaining gift, at his feet. I will have found the flame that lights the skies and have given purpose and meaning to my life.
I observe that you call the one you're looking for both a king and a Messiah. Can he be both?
The one I seek will be all-powerful. He will bring a new kingdom to earth.
That could mean that he's an emperor. But you do not look for him among the mighty. Why?
Because it's confusing. I've searched so long. I've grown old. And there are so many contradictions. How can he be an emperor? He was born in a stable, and his people are humble laborers. It does not fit together.
Perhaps your Messiah's kingdom is of a different kind.
I do not understand you.
Has it occurred to you that your king might not be found in a palace? If I were to look for such a one, I would seek among the poor and the lowly, the suffering and the oppressed, who need him most.
How should I recognize so simple a man as that?
Go home, my friend. You look for your Messiah in the wrong places. His kingdom is within. Prepare your heart, and he will come to you, wherever you may be.
No, I shall not give up my search. I will not return home to accept failure.
And you are driven by pride, sir, not by reverence for the truth.
How dare you? Who are you to advise me, a scrivener, locked away in a narrow room? It is written that he is a king, and I will find him on his throne. Lay this at his feet. I've lost everything else along the way, but I still have my pearl to pay him tribute. More years.
The kingdom is within. Prepare your heart, and the Christ comes to you wherever you may be. How's that for a Christmas message? So Artaban kept searching. He was determined. He went to countries that were heavy with famine, that were plague-stricken cities, and in each of these places, he found ways to feed the hungry and clothe the naked and heal the sick and comfort the captive. And years of searching became so many that it almost seemed that he had forgotten his original quest. But once, as he stood alone at sunrise near the gate of a Roman prison, he remembered his pearl, the only remaining gift that he had left for the king and that he had spent his life searching for. And it seemed to be more luminous and more precious as it laid close to his heart, to the warmth of his beating heart. And so Artaban was now an old man with snowy white hair. 33 years had passed, and he was still a pilgrim, still looking for his king, still searching, still a seeker of light. And he was worn and weary as he entered Jerusalem for the last time. It was Passover, and the city was filled with other pilgrims who were there for the great feast of Passover. But on this day, there was a palpable agitation in the city. There was a feeling of portentous gloom. And so Artaban asked a passerby what was going on, and he was told that the crowd was headed towards Golgotha for an execution of the man they called the Son of God and the King of the Jews. And Artaban's heart stirred. Is this the one I've been searching for my whole life, only to find that he's now to be put to death by his enemies? Perhaps I have been brought to this moment to offer my pearl in exchange for his life. And so as he proceeded with his new goal of freeing his king, he noticed a troop of soldiers that were dragging a young girl to sell her into slavery. And as they passed by Artaban, the girl fell to Artaban's feet and said, "Please save me." And so Artaban faced this old conflict in his soul, the conflict between the expectation of faith and the impulse of love. Was this his great opportunity or his great temptation? He couldn't tell for a moment. Only one thing was clear in the darkness of his mind, and that was whatever was going on here was inevitable, and that whatever is inevitable must be from God. And so he took the pearl out of his pouch and he placed it in the hand of the young girl to buy her freedom. "This is the last of my treasures," he said, "which I have kept for my king." And as he spoke, the sky turned black and the earth tumbled and buildings collapsed and crashed all around him. So I want to read this last piece. So since we're storytelling. Hello. One more lingering pulsation of the earthquake quivered through the ground. A heavy tile shaken from the roof fell and struck the old man in the temple. He lay breathless and pale with his gray hair resting on the young girl's shoulder and blood trickling from his wound. As she bent over him, fearing that he was dead, there came a voice through the twilight, very small and still, like music sounding from a distance, in which notes are clear, but the words are lost. The girl turned to see if someone had spoken from the window above them, but she saw no one. Then the old man's lips began to move as if in answer, and she heard him say in his Persian tongue, "Not so, Lord. For when I saw thee hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink, when I saw thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee, when I saw thee sick or in prison and came unto thee, 33 years have I looked for thee, but I have never seen thy face, nor ministered to thee, my king." And Artaban became quiet, and the sweet voice came again. And again the maid heard it, very faint and very far away, but it now seemed that she understood the words. "Verily I say unto thee, inasmuch as thou hast done it unto one of the least of my brethren, thou hast done it unto me." A calm radiance of wonder and joy lighted the pale face of Artaban. This always breaks me up, sorry. A calm radiance of wonder and joy lighted the pale face of Artaban like the first ray of dawn on a snowy mountain peak. A long breath of relief exhaled gently from his lips. His journey was ended. His treasure was accepted. The other wise man had found his king. The end. So let's prepare for meditation. Let's take this time of meditation to go deeper. We have this precious time. All of the Christmas shopping hopefully is done. All of the preparations are already made for the parties and the family gatherings. So we just can take some time for ourselves in this moment. And we have these wonderful words from that little film clip we saw. The kingdom is within. Prepare your heart, and the Christ comes to you wherever you may be. Prepare your heart, and the Christ comes to you wherever you may be. So what is it at this moment, this morning? How could you be prepared? How could you be more prepared for the Christ of your being, for the Christ within? What would you need to let go of? What would you need to embrace? Could it be to be more loving, or more patient, more kind, less judgmental, less critical? Could it be to allow yourself to be more vulnerable, just to be more open and receptive to the movement of spirit that is within you? Prepare your heart, and the Christ of your being comes to you wherever you may be. So let's now take that thought into the silence, that the kingdom is within. Prepare your heart, and the Christ will find you wherever you may be. Prepare your heart. And the Christ of your being, the God of your being, the God of your understanding, whatever your concept of God is, will find you wherever you may be. We take comfort and solace from that thought, from the courage and wisdom of Artaban to keep on pursuing his dream, for that steadfastness of faith, courage. And so as we move into this Christmas Day and Christmas Eve and into the brand new year, we can take comfort just from remembering this thought. Prepare your heart, and the Christ, the God of your being, the God of your understanding, will find you wherever you are. Amen. And let's just bring our attention out to this room now and just slowly open your eyes when it feels comfortable.
Reverend Don, thank you for that wonderful message and the beautiful meditation. A part of the Christmas story we don't always focus on. I love that. Maybe we don't need to think so much about preparing gifts and preparing food. Preparing our heart. And now you have an opportunity to do just that. This is the time in our service when we have the opportunity to give back to Unity of Charlottesville with our tithes and our offerings. So as you prepare and gather that, I would like to see, is there anyone here for the first time? Welcome, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Please say hello to Reverend Don after the service. We're glad you joined us on this Christmas Eve. And if there's anyone joining us online for the first time, we'd like to invite you to join us here in our sanctuary any Sunday morning, 10:30, Hydraulic Road. There are many ways to give to Unity of Charlottesville. The butterfly basket will be coming around so you can place your offering in the basket. You can text to give. That's probably the easiest way. Wherever you are, there's a number on the screen. You simply key that into your phone. You can set up an account, and the prompts will tell you how to do that. It's very easy going forward. And of course, there's the old-fashioned way. You can always mail a check to the church office. We are so grateful for everything that you share with us, because it's the funds that come from you that give us the ability to sustain this church campus and provide this opportunity for spiritual growth. So we're going to bless our offering?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Please join me in blessing our offerings and our tithes. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
On this carol, we would like for those of you that like to sing, say, alto or soprano, the higher parts, to sing the lines that the page sings. And those of you that have lower voices will sing the king's lines. And when it's the narrator, we all sing. So you have to stay alert. Let's play through the whole thing.
Wenceslas looked down on the feast of Stephen, where the snow lay round about,
High voices.
Sire, he lives a goodly hence underneath the mountain, right against the forest fence by St. Agnes' fountain.
Now just the manly voices.
Bring me fresh and bring me wine. Bring me thine lost hither. Now and I will see him dine when we bear them thither.
Everybody.
Page and monarch, forth they went together through the rude wind's wild lament and the bitter weather.
Now the little page.
Sire, the night grows darker now, and the wind blows stronger. Fails my heart, I know not how. I can go no longer.
My footsteps, my good page, tread not in them boldly. Thou shalt find the winter's rage, freeze thy bloodless coldly.
Everybody.
In his master's steps he trod, where the snow lay dinted. He was in the very sod which the saint had printed. Therefore everyone be sure, wealth or rank possessing, he who now will bless the poor shall yourselves find blessing.
Very nice job.
Well, we don't have a youth and children's program today, so we want to bless our youth and children wherever they are, and our teens, wherever they are in this universe. And, also, let's hold in our hearts this morning as we bless our children, just all of the children in these war-torn areas that are just suffering so much at this time of year, which should be a time of peace. So let's hold that in our earnest too, all right? Together, children, uniteens, YOUers, teachers, and parents. You are loved, special, and important.
And we'd like to remind you that we have pastoral care. If you have anyone in your family that needs some assistance, you can reach out to the church office, or you can go on our website and request that.
And next week will be our Burning Bowl and White Stone ceremony at 10:30. Tonight, of course, our Christmas Eve service at 5:30, and just a reminder that if you'd like to stay and help right after the service, just to set up the tables and maybe put some more chairs down, that would be most welcome. I want to thank everybody who helped out this morning, Bob and Amy up in the sound booth, and we had, who's our blessing? Maria was on our blessing team today, and who else in our blessing team? Oh, Frank, thank you. Thank you both for doing that. And of course, our incredible music team, Blair Jones and Kate Tamarkin, Jim Polson, Blue, and Janice and Christina and Stevie and Kevin and John and Peggy. Thank you for being CA today. Thank you all. And let's stand. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a prayer for protection and then another song. So let's stand. Sorry? Together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever God is, all is well.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare Him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ. O'er fields and floods, flocks, fields and plains, beneath the sounding door, beneath the sounding door.
Let it begin with me.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
See you guys tonight. Good job. Good job, everyone. Yay. Merry Christmas Eve.
Thank you. Turn that off.